Today is the last day to submit a comment to the FTC to save your favorite creators. So we still need you to help us as much as possible. But in order to help us, these kinds of protests over here of not posting on YouTube is the silliest thing I have ever seen. For obvious reasons, I am not a lawyer and this is not legal advice. This is purely my opinion and my observations. So for creators who are saying that you won't be posting on YouTube, or for viewers who are saying I will not be watching YouTube for the next few days, you are doing nothing but hurting creators. And what we really need to focus on is that today is the last day to submit a comment to the FTC. All the links will be in the description box below. Just to give a quick recap, there are laws that have been set in place to protect children online, which, look at me, I agree with 100%. However, these rules are outdated, and what they're doing is they're going to be doing more harm than good on the platform. The issue with the FTC rules and language that is being used in the documents currently as it is that firstly, child appealing and child directed are very much so gray zone. So for example, if I'm using a squishy to modify or a doll to turn into a different work of art, the idea of a doll itself could be seen as child appealing, which could put you in the category of child directed. Do you see what I'm saying here? So it is very much so a gray zone. There have been videos that have been popping out and many of you have tagged me, like the one from Ian Corzine that says things that YouTube is hiding. I did watch this video. Yes. Do I believe it? No.
Late last night, I got a phone call from a private unknown number. I answered and I heard a man's voice. He didn't give me his name, but he said he was close to upper level YouTube management. He paused, and I'll never forget what he said next. I have to tell you what more YouTube is hiding from you about COPPA. In today's video, I'm gonna give you the inside story behind this call. All right, let's hit this.
There are some things that just didn't work out for me, and I could spend a whole video going through that video, but I'm not gonna do that because I have other things to talk about. So things didn't really settle for me regarding this video and the argument that it had. The biggest argument that this video had is that we should have an option for a general audience. Currently as it is on YouTube, we have the option of content for kids and content not for kids. But recently this video made it so that people are thinking, why didn't YouTube give us a general audience kind of option? Again, we need to stop blaming YouTube. If we have a general audience option, it is making this again a gray zone. The FTC's language is gray zone. So what we need to do is get a clear answer from the FTC of what is for children. Because if we're working with gray zone from the FTC and then YouTube allowing us to have a gray zone designation, it's just going to create a lot of confusion. In a video that was just posted by Creecraft while I was working on this video, at the beginning he clearly says,
now, they also wanted to nail home the fact that they're not after edge cases. They specifically told me to go and take a look at their previous cases, all right? And all of those cases are clear, cut, and dry. Like, yeah, these guys were severely violating COPPA. They were severely violating the law. They have not went after any cases where it's like, well, maybe they are, maybe they're not. They're not interested in edge cases.
So he does say that the FTC is going for very specific, clear cases, which means that YouTube needs to make sure that we are categorized in clear cases. If the FTC really is only going for obvious for children or not for children, then the general audience option really kind of means nothing. By the way, Creecraft, thank you so much for going to the FTC and chatting with them. It means so much to a lot of us. I just feel like what we're talking about in terms of the general audience does not apply as much as some people may or may not believe is useful. I think it is absolutely not useful.
Whenever you upload a video on YouTube, you have to choose either for kids or not for kids. There's no mixed audience option in there. And a lot of creators have been saying that if it is a mixed audience, just choose not for kids. And that's technically not how the law works, because technically mixed audience is a subset of for kids. So choosing not for kids with a mixed audience technically is not how the law works. And this brings me into the YouTube situation. So they cannot, like, they can suggest stuff to YouTube, but ultimately what YouTube does is up to YouTube. The systems that they put in place is up to YouTube.
And so this is where I disagree with a lot of the creators who are saying that a general audience option would solve the problem. The answer is no. The reason for that is because, again, general audience still falls under the category as kids included. So we're coming back to the same argument again. We need a clearer language from the FTC. Once we have a clearer language from the FTC, then it would be a lot easier to implement and a lot less confusion for creators. However, here are the things I think are really important. So for those of you who are going to be submitting a comment to the FTC, today is the last day. I can't say this enough because their website has been going down a lot, which is good news for us because it means there are a lot of comments. But on the other hand, how many of those comments are still there, or how many of them may have been accidentally deleted because of systems and technology and all that stuff? So if the website is still down, there is also an email address that you can send to. So I will leave all those resources in the comment section as well as in the description box below. So here are the points I would really love to discuss that are way more important than the general audience or blaming YouTube itself. And a lot of the points that I'm going to be making are based from the comment that YouTube itself submitted to the FTC. And I'll leave a link for that also in the description box below. The first issue is treating adult viewers as children viewers. So currently, because of the FTC at this time, if you're an adult who enjoys children type content, you will automatically be treated as a child viewer on YouTube itself, which means that the creator you are watching will be penalized for you being a child even though you are an adult. So one of the things that you need to make clear to the FTC is that you are an adult and you should be treated as an adult on the platform as soon as you are signed in using your account, since YouTube is a 13 and up platform. The next thing is, if you are a parent, the FTC should not remove your parental decisions towards what your kid does. If you are giving your child your signed in device for them to watch YouTube on, you are 100% responsible for what they do with that. And you're also confirming that you are aware that data is being collected on your account. By removing parents from the equation, that is completely not what parents are supposed to be doing, which is parenting. And even though the FTC is saying that data is still being collected on accounts that are not logged in, I have to say that that is something I appreciate, because as a teacher, when I go to school, I do not log in to my personal YouTube account to look for videos that are educational. So when I go back on the computer, I really do appreciate the actual suggestions of videos of what I've watched recently in my classroom. So a non-logged in account with data that is being collected is a great time saver for those of us who work in the public sector. The other thing is, when it comes to children's content, they should not be penalized. And what it means is that if this rule passes, child-directed content that is actually made for kids and quality child content will see a reduction of 80% of their revenue. Up to 80% of their revenue will be gone, which means that most channels will not want to make content that is for kids, which is a huge bummer because YouTube is very much so easily accessible for a lot of different people. And this kind of wholesome content should stay on the platform. Are there terrible contents?
Yes.
Are there bad actors?
Yes.
But I'm talking about the actual good content here on YouTube. So what we want to do is make sure that there's a way for them to still make content. So if you're a parent and you are giving your child your device for them to watch child type content, let the FTC know that you are okay with the data of the watching behavior to be collected, which essentially means that targeted ads will still be playing on that creator's videos, which means they won't be losing that kind of income. And the other blog post heading that YouTube made is called "Provide Clarity on What is Made for Kids." For those of us who are in the gray zone, the language of the FTC is pretty gray zone. So some of the things that they did mention was that pets would be considered child appealing. I have my parrot quite often on my channel. Would I have to suddenly remove my parrot from my channel because it could be child appealing? I hope not. He really enjoys being on camera. So essentially what I'm trying to say is stop blaming YouTube. No, we do not need a general audience's option. Because according to the FTC's discussion with Creecraft, by them saying that they're only going for a yes for children or no for children, the general audience really wouldn't matter in this case. So I highly encourage you to read the YouTube blog posts because they make some really good arguments. And not only that, but they are defending the gaming, crafting, and art community. So please read the blog post. Please make the last day count for the comments. If the FTC's website for the comments is down, send them an email. Try to make the same points that the YouTube blog post is making, because as adults, we should be treated as adults if we are logged into our account and we can prove that we are over 13. If the FTC gives YouTube those kinds of permissions, we will get those permissions. But the first and most important thing we need to do is get rid of that gray zone language. I'll leave all the articles in the comment and description box below. Again, we need you. Today is the last day. Also, shameless plug, Friday, December 13 is the Parrot movie. Make sure you come back to my channel on December 13th.